I'm sitting in my kitchen in Charleston, South Carolina, holding a piece of paper that just detonated my entire world. It's not a bill. It's not a letter. It's a wedding invitation. But not for me. It's black, thick, metallic, luxurious. The kind of card you send when you want to make a statement. And at the top, in bold silver letters, it reads, "Toxic lineage eliminated. You are not welcome at the union of Mason Ellis and Blair Whitmore." Below that, "Your influence has expired. The future chooses legacy over liability." I've been staring at it for an hour, not moving, not blinking, just hollow. You see, Mason isn't just my grandson. He's my whole damn world. I raised that boy since he was 9, after my daughter and son-in-law died in a crash on I-526. His so-called Aunt Leela helped sometimes, sure, but let's not pretend. I was the one who showed up, every spelling test, every soccer game, every late-night breakdown before finals. It was me, and now I've been erased. But it's not just the invitation. Oh no, that would be too easy. 2 days later, my niece Leela calls me, voice trembling. "You seen TikTok lately?" she says. I hadn't. I wish I never had. There's Blair Mason's fiancée standing in her wedding gown, smiling like a pageant queen while setting a photograph of me on fire. On camera. The caption, "No freeloading fossils at our wedding. Generational wealth starts by deleting leeches. New legacy trash to cash." The video had 80,000 views in under a day. Comments rolled in like venom. "Good riddance to guilt trippers. Why do old people act like their money equals love? She's iconic for this cleanse." I called Mason. Voicemail, texted, nothing. So I did what any heartbroken grandfather would do. I waited in the parking lot outside his condo for 3 hours. When he pulled up, he spotted me and muttered, "You've got to be kidding." I asked him, "What the hell is going on?" He didn't blink. Didn't soften, he said. "Blair showed me the truth. You've been emotionally blackmailing me my whole life. Helping with school, manipulation, paying for college, guilt leverage, all of it strings attached." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He went on, "Her parents showed me what real success looks like. People who invest in each other without control tactics. People who don't dangle trust funds like puppet strings." I reminded him, his car, his degree, his apartment, it all came from support I arranged. He laughed. "That's exactly it. You built my cage and called it love." That's when he dropped the real bomb. They had live-streamed their gift-opening party. When they got to the empty space where my present should have been, Blair held it up and smirked. "Guess Gramps couldn't spare the retirement pennies. More space for people who actually matter." Mason laughed with her, but it wasn't just them. Audrey, my late son-in-law's sister, commented, "Should have cut that baggage years ago. Mason's finally free." Blair's cousin, Sloane, chimed in, "Trailer DNA can't touch dynasty. Good riddance to Rust Belt bloodlines." That night, I sat in my study and stared at a wall of memories. Report cards, birthday cards, notes he wrote me in crayon saying I was his hero. Had I been controlling? Was I blind? Then it hit me, no. This isn't about control. It's about narrative. Blair's family rewrote mine. And they're about to learn that stories built on lies collapse under the weight of truth. Because here's what Mason forgot. He doesn't own his lifestyle. I do. I called my advisor, Harlan, the next morning. Turns out Mason's shiny life, the apartment, the car insurance, the high credit score, all flowed from a trust fund that I established when he was a teenager. A trust with conduct clauses. Clauses that explicitly stated the funds would be cut off in the event of public disrespect, family alienation, or behavior damaging to the grantor. Mason is 24. The trust doesn't transfer until 25. And I still hold the pen. Backhand index pointing right, pause for a second. If someone burned your photo online and called you trash, would you fight back or walk away? Let me know in the comments. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. I didn't make a scene, not yet. I wanted to see how far they'd take it. On Tuesday, I waited for Mason outside his office. When he saw me, he tried to walk away. I handed him a folder. "Read this," he smirked. "Don't need to. Roy already told me you'd try this. Blair's dad's helping me move everything to independent accounts." That's when I told him. "The trust doesn't release until 25, and you've already violated multiple clauses. Keep pushing and I'll lock it down." He looked shaken for just a second. Then he said, "Roy warned me you'd threaten me. We've already got a strategy." I said nothing, because I had my own. By Thursday, Roy had filed a legal challenge. By Friday, I had filed my own, an immediate suspension of all monthly transfers pending misconduct review. Saturday morning, 7 a.m., Mason was banging on my door. No BMW, just his fists. "You ruined my life," he screamed. I let him in. We talked. He accused. I explained. He threatened. I stayed calm. Then he told me, "Blair's family is covering me now. That's what real support looks like." But here, what Mason didn't see coming, conditional love wears pearls and speaks in polite tones, but it's still conditional. And the second Mason's public image started to crumble, Blair began to vanish. By the court date, everything exploded. The courtroom felt more like a funeral home that morning, quiet, cold, and full of judgment. Roy sat beside Mason and Blair, dressed like a Southern senator with a smug smile that made my stomach turn. Mason looked rough, pale, eyes sunken, the suit too big, confidence gone, but Blair, she still had that look like she'd already won. Roy opened with flair. He called the conduct clauses manipulative, unconstitutional, financial entrapment, said I had orchestrated a lifetime of dependence under the guise of love. Then my attorney Harlan stood and calmly unraveled everything. He walked the court through every detail, $1,200 in monthly transfers directly to Mason's checking. Car insurance paid through a trust fund account since he was 18. Secured credit cards established and paid off each month to boost his credit. Rent deposits, utility setups, emergency dental care, even his networking trip to Napa, all funded. Then Harlan dropped two bombs. First, Mason had personally requested increases twice, once for a professional summit Blair wanted him to attend, and once for a better apartment to fit Blair's image of success. Second, both requests included signed acknowledgments that Mason understood the conduct clause implications. Mason turned red. I mean boiling lobster red. Roy tried to spin it, saying, "It's normal for families to help their children." The judge asked, "Then why the social media campaign against the man funding it?" We submitted evidence, TikTok videos, Instagram reels, screen grabs of Blair mocking me, Mason joining in. The judge's expression hardened, and then he turned to Blair. "Ms. Whitmore, can you explain your involvement in this trust challenge?" She started with her usual charm. "We believe in cutting toxic influences, in setting boundaries." We were trying to protect Mason's autonomy. The judge cut her off. "Did you or your family research Mr. Ellis's finances before advising Mason to challenge the trust?" Blair hesitated. "Yes," she finally admitted. "My father thought it was necessary due diligence." "And who is currently covering Mason's living expenses?" Another pause. "My parents." "For how long?" Blair's voice lowered. "Since the trust payments stopped." "So," the judge said, "Mason left one financial dependence to enter another." Blair fumbled. "This is different. We're building a future." "And if you two were to separate?" the judge asked. Silence. Mason stared at the table. Outside the courtroom that day, everything cracked. Mason caught up to me in the parking garage. For the first time in months, I saw the boy I raised, not the man Blair sculpted. "I didn't know," he whispered. "I didn't know how deep the support ran. They told me it was nothing." He looked broken. Then he said, "She's been pulling away, saying I'm not stepping up. Her parents are dropping hints about long-term plans." I didn't gloat. I didn't comfort him either. I said, "Blair loved the version of you built on my dollar, but not the reality underneath." Mason asked, "Is there any way to fix this?" I didn't answer right away. Because I didn't know. But I do know this. Revenge is a dish best served with receipts. 2 days later, Blair posted a new TikTok, taking time apart to focus on personal growth. Sometimes love isn't enough when values don't align. Translation, she dumped him. Mason moved out of their high-rise. No more BMW. No more champagne brunches. The court ruling came back a week later. Conduct clauses upheld. Challenge denied. The judge said Mason could reapply in 6 months if he demonstrated financial maturity and genuine repair of family relationships. For now, everything's frozen. He gets nothing. He lost the trust. He lost Blair. And now, he might finally be waking up. I wish I could tell you Mason took the court's decision like a man. He didn't. After the ruling, he sent me a single text. You got what you wanted. I hope you're proud. I didn't reply. Because what I wanted, what I still want, is not to win. It's to open his damn eyes. But karma wasn't done yet. 2 days after the court ruling, Leela called again, nearly breathless. You need to see Blair's new post. Blair had gone full public relations mode. She uploaded a healing video montage, her walking barefoot on the beach, writing affirmations, meditating to flute music. And then this line flashed on screen. Sometimes we outgrow people who cling to the past. Love yourself enough to say goodbye. At first, it looked like a standard breakup influencer fluff piece. But the hashtags were what caught fire. Toxic grandpa, financial abuse survivor, he tried to buy us, and this time, she tagged me directly. Tagging my full name, my profile picture, even my retirement job title. Thousands of strangers, many of them young, smug, and clueless, piled on with comments like, "Classic boomer manipulation. He thought money made him a father." Gross, glad she escaped that mess. So I made a call, not to Harlan, to someone else. Caroline, a former business partner. Brilliant, connected, and ruthless when she needs to be. She owes me. I gave her the whole rundown: Mason, the trust, the social media smear campaign. I told her I wasn't looking for pity. I wanted exposure. She smiled on the other end of the line and said, "Let me call in a few favors." By Friday morning, a local Charleston columnist named Deidre King published a feature titled, "The Grandson Who Bit the Hand That Fed Him and the TikTok Queen Who Burned the Bridge." The article was brutal, factual, sourced, but dripping with Southern side-eye. It included screenshots of Blair's videos, quotes from the court ruling, and this line that made me chuckle. Turns out the only toxic financial entrapment was the free ride Blair was enjoying on someone else's dime. It went viral. Not TikTok viral. Real-world viral. Charleston Ledger, South Carolina Business Weekly. Fox 24 picked it up. Even Mason's old college alumni board issued a statement distancing themselves from the social media misconduct of one of our former students. By Saturday, Blair deleted her TikTok and made her Instagram private. But the damage was done. Now she was the subject of a comment storm: rich girl vibes with no receipts, gold digger who got played, should have stayed off grandpa's money. Mason tried calling me that night. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail. His voice shook as he said, "I didn't see it until now. I thought I was breaking free, but I was just switching cages." He apologized, said he'd started working part-time at a used car lot, that he sold his Apple Watch, that he was couchsurfing at a friend's place in West Ashley until he figured things out. I still didn't call back, not yet, because rebuilding trust takes more than one voicemail, but I kept that recording. I listened to it sometimes, not out of spite, out of hope. Maybe the kid I raised, the one who loved books and puzzles and used to cry when his goldfish died, maybe that boy is still in there somewhere. 6 months from now, Mason can petition to restore the trust access. If he can prove financial responsibility, and if he makes amends that actually mean something. The irony, he'll have to ask for it, with respect, in writing, because the final clause in that trust, the one I wrote with shaking hands the night I signed it, requires a formal letter of gratitude before any reinstatement. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. I wanted to teach him independence. I wanted him to stand on his own. But when he let strangers mock me, burn my photo, and erase 15 years of sacrifice, he wasn't choosing freedom. He was choosing convenience. And now Mason Ellis knows the true cost of biting the hand that fed him isn't just financial. It's spiritual. You don't torch your legacy and expect the ashes to pay rent. As for me, I walk a little lighter these days, not because I've lost a grandson, but because I finally stopped carrying someone who didn't want to be carried. It's been just over 6 months, and this morning, tucked between a utility bill and an AARP flyer, I found a letter. Handwritten, the envelope was plain, no fancy card stock, no wax seal, just my name in shaky script. Inside, it read, "Grandpa, I know I don't deserve to call you that anymore. I've spent 6 months replaying everything, what I said, what I let happen, what I failed to stop. You were never trying to control me. You were trying to protect me, and I was too blind, or maybe too proud, to see it. Blair is gone. Her family stopped covering my bills the moment your story went public. Turns out, their unconditional support had a quiet expiration date. I was only valuable as long as I helped uphold their image. Now I know what it feels like to truly be on your own. It's not the independence I imagined. It's empty when it's built on betrayal. I'm working 2 jobs now, saving every penny. No BMW, no high-rise views, just reality and a bus pass that squeaks when I fold it into my wallet. I've attached the reinstatement request you mentioned in court. But more than that, I'm including this letter because I need you to know, I remember everything. The way you stood on freezing soccer sidelines with coffee in one hand and a broken umbrella in the other. The way you never once made me feel like a burden, even when I was. I remember the birthday card you gave me with that quote. Legacy isn't money, it's love you never have to question. I questioned it, I broke it. But if there's anything left, anything at all, I want to rebuild. I don't care about the money anymore. I just want the man who taught me what family should look like to know that I finally understand what I lost. I'm sorry, not just for what I said, but for what I believed. Love, Mason, I read it twice, then 3 more times. And I cried, not out of relief, out of grief for what we lost, for what ego cost us, for what a snake in a white dress convinced my grandson to burn, but also out of hope. That maybe, just maybe, this kid could rise from the ashes of the lies he let someone else light. The reinstatement form sat beside the letter. I haven't signed it yet, not because I want to punish him, but because I need him to show me that this change is real. Actions, not ink, because legacy isn't money. It's the way we love and who we become when the spotlight goes out and there's no audience left to applaud us.